Glad to know you're still with us. It's still iBrandTV. And guess what? We will have a full house conversation on something I believe is very important and tricky at the same time.
Yep.
So, yes, we're not alone. We are joined by Chioma.
Yeah.
Good to have you join us today.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Samuel Okata. Good to share this space with you.
Thank
I've
you
been a long time.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, so basically, this particular conversation was sparked online by a co-journalist, let's say a colleague in the industry, saying, is it possible for you to, you're married, you love your wife or you love your husband, and at the same time cheat on them? Is it possible? Let me start with you.
Right. Okay, well, I don't think that's possible in the scheme of things. When you say possible, again, possible would now depend on what your definition is in terms of possibility.
Definition of what's possible.
Yes. Let me explain. To answer on, the surface, I mean, we've had several instances of married men and women cheating. So is it possible? Apparently, it's possible.
But is it
and
possible
they will
for you
claim
to be in love?
That's the point. They will claim that, at the time they did that, or had that illicit affair, they still loved their spouses. So when you ask the question, is it possible that you're married to someone and you still cheat on them? It's very much possible. We've seen precedents over time. It's happened, since time memorial. It's still happening now, and it will still happen in terms of married folks having illicit affair and cheating on their spouses. So that question answers itself. Is it possible? Yes, it is.
So what you're saying is it's possible to cheat. But my question is,
based on the question, on the
if you
surface,
love someone, because I feel that love is a commitment. I feel that, love is deeper than whatever. It's deeper than what you see and all of that. So if you truly love someone, with that love, will you be able to look into another person's eye and go down with that person, knowing that there is another person you love so much?
Now that's where, I said it depends on what the definition will be. Again, the question simply answers itself when you bring about, is it possible? That those who did engaged in that, act over time of infidelity, and they'll tell you, oh, when it happened, I loved my spouse, it didn't change, I just messed up, it was a mistake.
So you mean you love someone, and at the same time you're hurting that person.
Exactly.
It means nothing to you.
Now that's the point. That's where you have certain people tell you, oh, the fact that I did that or I messed up at that point doesn't mean I didn't love my spouse. I still love my spouse. Now that question answers itself in that sense. But when you look at the context again, you now begin to ask questions. You take off the layers and you ask questions.
Okay.
How can you love someone? You're committed to that person, you respect the person, and you deliberately hurt the person, disrespect the person, and all of that. Remember again that with infidelity, there are various angles to it in terms of the disrespect that it brings to your spouse, the hurt it brings to your spouse, the betrayal, the disappointment, the pain. It's a whole lot.
Let's get to Chioma.
Why me?
No, because it has to be you.
Okay. All right. So, yes, you can love your spouse and still cheat on them.
How?
Perpetual. In this Nigeria, in this Lagos, we know that so many married men, so many married men have side chicks. Yeah? Most of them love their wives. They love their families.
How do you tell me you love your wife? That's what I need to
So this is what they
understand.
usually say. Yes, I love my wife. I love my home. I want to keep my home happy. But then my wife can't be there for me every time. I've also heard a married man say anytime he tries to bring up a conversation with his wife, she always starts talking about the children, starts talking about school fees. That he can't have a normal phone conversation with his wife.
Is that your experiential reality?
No. Just
ask it. Not married in that sense.
So he was like, he can't have a conversation with his wife without her bringing up, issues about problems in the house and all that.
That's communication issue. He should be talking to his wife.
But hold on. But then, if he has a side chick, she's all out for fun. She wants to just have fun. She wants to watch cartoons. She's not bothered about, what children, the time children are going to wake up to go to school, or what they're going to wear, or what they're going to eat. A side chick is just fun, but he loves his wife.
That's an industry.
You understand? So, married men, people that cheat, men can love their wives and still cheat. They
I
will
bet
cheat
you.
on you.
I can
Then
never-
you have so many side chicks.
I will never take
and it will
that.
shock you.
I will
This man
never
will buy
take
you
that.
gifts.
No.
This man will buy you a car.
No.
This man will take you out on vacations.
Let's have
but you will still cheat. You have five side chicks outside.
Tell me you love him and you're cheating on me. What are you
This is the
doing?
men we are dealing with now in this generation. That's just the reality.
How about
What about
the-
you see a guy? So now women when they love, women love wholeheartedly. You understand? And when a woman begins to, most women now, when a woman begins to cheat on her husband or her boyfriend, her love begins to depreciate. That's just it with women. You understand? You will notice, you will know if you're a guy, if you pay close attention, you know that something is changing with this woman. So a woman wouldn't really want to cheat. But once she starts cheating, it's very obvious. Her love begins to get divided. But a man will love his wife wholeheartedly, and he will not. He will even tell his side chick, "This is my wife. Whatever I have to do with her,
Stay out of it.
She's precious. She's my main woman. You are my side chick." Do you understand? That's just the way it is with people, with men and women these days.
I think you said it's an industry. We'll come to the
Yes,
industry
it is.
aspect. Okay, so let's have your thought.
All right, so let me start by saying, you see, this question or this discussion is a personal discussion.
Okay.
Why I said it's personal is because I cannot answer for you, you cannot answer for me. You have your lifestyle, I have my lifestyle. But that does not rule out the fact that if you're genuinely in love, you will never cheat. I've seen
What if your
people-
wife is
just
the
a-
one
just
who
a
talks
moment.
like the
Just a
person she
moment.
talked about?
Just a moment. If you're genuinely in love, you will never cheat. That's why I said it is a personal question. But I still don't want to go out of context because I know that people cheat while they're married. I'm going to give you a good example. I live in an apartment whereby a young guy, I don't want to start giving some details
Yeah.
because I'm on air. I live with a neighbor that is a young guy like me. He told me practically that he will cheat despite the fact that he's married. And he went to the extent of having his own apartment in the place where I live, transferred his wife and his son somewhere else. I don't want to start calling names.
Okay.
And I see him bring girls on a daily to his house.
Did he ever tell you why?
He told me that he cannot do without cheating. He told me
What is
practically.
the reason?
So I knew that from that point, he's not genuinely in love. He just want to get married so that people don't start asking, why are you not married at this age? You're doing well. You're making some little income.
Let me come in
You
here.
understand? So that's why I said it's a personal thing. I cannot answer for him. He can answer for me because we
I want
have
us to talk about this person now because when you say he has a wife, has a son, kept them somewhere,
Yeah.
did you just go into the world,
Just
you
a
pick
moment.
somebody
And I
who gives birth to your child? Don't you even care about that child?
It's not about care.
So he's probably
it is a
performing his
it is a
family duties to the
lifestyle.
child,
I
actually.
asked him that why is it that you prefer staying alone and you took your wife out there
And your child?
in a room you know, a bedroom, yeah, exactly, a self-contained apartment. He gave me a reason initially that it is because of the nature of the work he does. Just a moment. I said, what's the nature of the job he does? It's something I know. He said that if he wants to be going there, it's going to be eating into his income.
Oh,
All right?
really?
I said, okay, it's going to be eating into your income. Why not do that on the weekends? Go home on the weekends, then you can look for a place to put up during the weekdays. He said no, he doesn't want to do that. I now allowed him for some time.
Before he confessed.
No, he didn't confess. I allowed him for some time because he packed me into the apartment. But it's somebody I've known right from childhood. After some time, I started seeing girls trooping in, and they would stay till the next day. And I
Prayer
told,
sessions.
and I told myself that this thing is even crystal clear. Why am I even bothering myself? He just made me understand that he
Okay.
cannot stay without doing this.
that, okay.
And he decided to put his wife out there so that his wife would not know
We'll come back
what
to
his
this.
private life
We'll
is
come
like.
back
So
to this.
it's
We'll
a
come back to
personal thing. People do
We'll
it.
come back to this. It's a broad discussion, really.
Yeah.
There are various perspectives to it.
Yeah.
And we'll just take a breather now. iBrandTV continues in a moment. the discussion rather is still about the possibility of being married and at the same time cheating on your spouse and claiming you love them. Different reactions definitely trailing in at this point in time, especially concerning the possibility of that happening. Let me take Choma's thought. Again, you know, with married folks, I know you gave that example. Okay, I think we have a call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Philip. I'm calling from there.
Okay. You have the floor. Shoot.
Okay. First of all, I want to say it's very possible to love your spouse and still cheat.
Okay.
But looking at it on a wide scope,
Okay.
women, I would not want to say because I'm a man,
Okay.
what a man goes through in the hands of a lady or their wife goes a long way.
Okay.
Because there was an incident I saw online some time ago about a man in the UK, Nigerian based in the UK,
Okay.
who sponsored the girlfriend who happened to be his wife when the incident happened.
Okay.
The lady deprived him of everything he owns. He stopped him from spending funds in family and also some little things he was supposed to do for himself.
Okay.
He could not do that. All because the woman in context owns everything.
Hello. Okay, I think that call got interrupted by the
Disconnected,
network
yes.
service. But I think I was trying to talk about people's experiential realities pushing them to infidelity as a result of past experiences with their previous
I feel
relationships.
that that's an exception, not the ideal situation. If you have a
should it even
situation-
be an exception?
What I'm saying is this: the fact that you've had a particular experience which is not pleasant doesn't mean you should then become something else. If that is not who you are,
Exactly.
it's not enough for you to become something else or someone else.
You know the way they say you judge a case by its merits. That's the way you should judge someone, by their own merits when you're in a relationship with them. Again, there's this social cultural notion of you transmitting or firing previous grievances from a past relationship, those fears, those doubts, those anxieties. I understand we're humans, but if you are not whole, if you are not healthy, if you've not healed completely, there's no basis for you to go into another relationship and you're making use of the grievances of someone who your current partner does not even know about, and you're holding those
How would
mistakes
you
of the
even
past
feel if
against
someone
you.
is doing the same thing to you?
Exactly. So I understand where he is coming from, that people's previous experiences probably have pushed them to take certain stances, but I think at the end of the day, there's the need to judge cases by their own merits. And if you're in a relationship or marriage with someone, you should relate with a person on that basis, not bringing up the hurts and pains of the past and using that as some sort of yardstick on how you relate with a person. I think it's quite unfair.
Well, very quickly, before
I
we
wanted
went
to
on
say,
that,
I wanted to say something based on what Samsi just talked about. You see, this very issue we're talking about has several factors that could contribute to it.
Yeah.
He just mentioned one. Somebody having a bad experience and spilling it to every other relationship he has. To a great extent, it's not enough for him to do that. But as of yesterday, I was talking with somebody I never knew had a very bad experience.
Wow.
All right. He told me he was in a relationship with a girl for 4 years. Now he said he so much believed in this girl that this girl had no other person she was dating, to the point that, in fact, the lady gave her phone to the guy to hold, just for him to understand that she doesn't have a guy. Unknown to this guy that this lady had already told those whom she was dating time to call him, time not to call him, time to text, time not to text. So this guy was just having this feeling that for 4 years, this girl wasn't dating anybody. And he so invested so much in this girl to the point that some things this girl has today, if not for this guy, she won't have it.
When the main piece becomes the side piece.
Unfortunately, there was a day they were in a room sleeping. She knew this guy was going to call. And it's a very ungodly time. And this guy has been trying to, track her to really know if this is a real thing she's doing. Okay, the call came in. The phone was on silent. It vibrated. She picked the phone where the guy dropped it while they were sleeping, took it to the restroom, and was talking, never knowing that this guy followed her quietly, and heard her conversation on the phone.
That's heartbreaking.
Do you know what this guy was saying? This guy was saying that, hello there, I'm actually sleeping. Please call me back later. Immediately, this guy told her not to drop the call. Leave the call. Who are you speaking with? That was when this guy broke down in tears and was begging. Okay, is it call?
Yeah. Hello. Okay, I think we lost that call there, but I get that point of yours as well.
This guy now told me that henceforth he will never keep one girl because he has been hurt, right? So had it been this guy never had this bad experience for 4 years dating a girl that you so much loved, you invested heavily on her.
You know,
just
while this particular guy feels this is
Mm-hmm.
an excuse for him, I still feel it's not
That's
enough.
why I said it's not
I mean, there
enough.
are people. Do you know what experiences some ladies have had?
Exactly.
Do you know what experiences people have had?
That's why I said it's a factor, but it's not really
It's not enough. I think these are
genuine
people
reason.
who are probably
let's
calling
check
themselves.
Okay, but the reality is that this thing keeps going in circles, yeah? Now, I had a friend who, her boyfriend, hurt her so much, he cheated on her, and she was pained. She was hurt.
Okay.
Let's say that I guess we have a
have a call.
call now. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, I see this is Tony from Yanokbaja.
Yeah, this is Tony from Yampaja.
All right, good to have you. Please go ahead.
Cheating as a partner, you say you love your partner, you're cheating on him or her. But I want to say there are men who love their wives. Like, they will tell you, I love my wife, and that's my wife. It's no go area. But you still see them moving around with side chicks. And they will give you this theory of, in as much as it's rice, there's room for me to go and eat fried rice, jollof rice. Most of them will say, I'm tired of eating up. Not like you don't like to love their wife, but that's the theory they will give you. And I've been eating okra. I want to eat a goosey. I want to see what is out there. Maybe it's just inbuilt for some men. Like some African men, for example, they will say it's natural for African man to
It's a
cheat.
lifestyle.
That's from people's school of thought. That's their belief. Although me, I don't support it. I just want to hear my view.
All right, thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
calling.
Well, again, this is an issue that people bring up and say, oh, as Africans, we are polygamist in nature, especially the men and all. And I find it ridiculous, really, because you look at culture. What is culture? Basically a way of life, isn't it? It changes. It's not static. It's dynamic. It changes over time. And time is a constant variable that, things would change. Yes, maybe 50, 70, 100 years ago, you had African men, marrying 4 or 5 wives.
You don't see those men hiding behind the bushes with those women. No, when they want to take another wife, they'll tell their other wives, I have seen one damsel I want to bring in home as my wife, and he'll bring her in.
It's a life that
it is
some
different from
people have
cheating.
adopted.
So they know, they all know that, oh, this man, he likes women. He's going to keep marrying women. He's not hiding it from them. So it is another thing for you to hide behind bushes, behind your wife's back, and keep carrying girls up and down, and you're lying to her face.
You see, when
That
you
she's
tell
the only
me you
one that
love and
her.
you're cheating, what I say is maybe you're just committed to this thing, the home. I don't see it as you loving that woman. You're committed to the
Exactly.
home because it's a home already, and you have to make sure everything. I mean, for the sake of your children to start with, you don't want your children having several stepmothers, and at the end of the day, they get poisoned. I mean, we've heard a lot of stories. So I feel they're just committed to the fact that this is a home I have built. I have to keep it going. This woman has to be here, so that the children are well taken care of and everything is fine. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go out there and enjoy myself. But if you tell me you love that woman, I'll tell you, no, you're only committed to that home because, and I think it's even because of the children or just to keep some status.
Now remember,
Exactly.
you said go out there to enjoy yourself. Something you would have had with your wife, right?
Exactly.
That's
So
why I said
they
it's a
say
lifestyle.
that they can't keep eating, you perpetual now. Can you keep eating okra soup Today, this morning you eat okra. In the night you eat okra.
Now there's a
Tomorrow morning you eat
difference
okra. And you want to eat egusi, you want to eat ogbono, you want to eat vegetable. That is just
some
cement
people
mentality.
it's really
Actually,
tiring,
they feel like
you
they
know.
can't keep eating the same
It's really tiring being
over
with a
and over.
particular
They don't have a
person.
taste. They still love
That's
their
the way
food, but
they
they still have their
feel.
favorite food, but they won't
And
have
you
the
don't
taste of
have
other
to-
dishes. You understand? So that's just what cement mentality. And then a point I was going to make earlier is that some men, you understand, these habits, it started a long time ago. It just didn't start now that when they got married, yeah? So how does it start? You see young men now, guys, unmarried men, having 4 girlfriends, having 3 girlfriends. It just doesn't make sense to them that I can have just 1 girlfriend. They'll be like, why? Why just have 1 babe when Funke is there?
I think it's a discipline on their part.
That is the point. So when they start
It's
from
about
there,
character.
they
It's
start
about
from
it's a
there. And
discipline.
relationships. They start from relationships, cheating on their partners. They have 1 main babe, and they tell the other ones that, look, you all are side chicks. I have a main babe. No one should go there. But you people can kill yourselves. I will give you whatever you want. You understand? But I have a
Okay,
main
so we
chick.
have this picture on screen.
Okay. But I have a main chick. Yeah. Hey, just look. Oh my God.
This just points to what you just said. But really, how do you even, at the end of the day, you're losing even more, really.
You know, the thing is this, we need to also take into cognizance the role of the society in this. You know, more often we talk about, culture, you hear people try to defend such acts and say, they're African men and African men are polygamous. As I said earlier, you know, coming from that cultural bias, which doesn't even hold water because culture isn't static. But because society has a way of placing expectations and dictates on people, the society has encouraged this over time. And yet, the same society will cry foul when you will have a high rate of divorce or broken marriages or separation and all of that. It's ridiculous. You can't compensate for both when you place it on the balance of a beam. Now, here's the thing. The society, for example, will tell you, he's a man, he's a man. A guy has 2, 3, 4, 5, and you hear things like, he's a man, he took after his father. We've heard of those things in time past. Even when such men were married, there was no encouragement, you know, that they should be faithful to a partner. So, for someone who probably spends 10, 12 years of his life, maybe from age 18 thereabout till 30,
With different
living,
women.
you understand, with that different men, and then he gets married at 31 and he
It's
expects him
not
to
magic.
be
It's not
faithful
rocket
to one.
science. It's not
It's
possible
ridiculous.
now.
So now
It's not possible.
the same society that has
But where did
encouraged,
they learn these things from?
again, as I said,
From
it's societal
society as well.
dictates and
From
expectations.
society as well.
Let me
It's the
finish.
society that
still
is
want
against
to-
this issue.
Let me finish. You know, we've heard of these things over time. For example, the relics of patriarchal society, you know, brought about the encouragement of all of these things. Now, we know quite well that, you know, during patriarchy, you had the subjugation of women and objectification, commodification, and all of those things in place. It was the men that were like the alpha male, you know, the gods and all. So, virtually everything the man did at the time, nothing was seen about, nothing was said about it in terms of being wrong. For example, a woman cheats, it becomes like, she has committed the worst, you know, offense ever. A man cheats and you see maybe the family members, the head of the family, you know, extended family now come in Yoruba, they say Olori Ebi, and then they begin to, our wife, you know, and this guy did something silly. I've corrected him, I spoke to him actually. And at the end of the day, that's the second wife, that's the third wife. You know, there's really nothing to hold the man to account in that sense. But a woman does the same thing, and